Have you been playing SnowRunner from the very beginning? Or maybe you just started playing yesterday. Regardless, if you've ever logged into the mod browser before, you most definitely know of or have seen mods from the creator Limes. Like, for example, the ones on screen right now. Now, before we get any further in this video, I do want to let y'all know right here at the top, everything that I am using in this video will be linked in the description box down below. Most of it is public and available on console. However, there are a couple of trucks, I believe actually in this entire shot, only two that are PC only and are paid. One of the paid ones is this one, the blue Ford monster truck, and then the silver second gen down there on the left. That one is paid and PC only as well. But everything else that you see should be available on console as of the time of recording this video. And once again, if you want any more information about these mods specifically, they will be linked in the description down below. And believe me, that mod list is gonna be a long one. Now, why are we out here on this map? The map is Lime's Playground. Well, we're out here to send some trucks off the mega ramp, and we've got a massive lineup of trucks today, and we're gonna go right into it. We're not even gonna wait around to drive them up there. We're gonna pick up with y'all once we get out to the mega ramp with just about each one of these. Now, first up on the ramp is this. This is Lime's 2017 L400, arguably one of Lime's most popular trucks of all time, and it's certainly an absolute beast. Now, just to be clear, we are going to be using the far left lane for all of these vehicles just to kind of keep things somewhat fair, and the way we're going to do it is we're going to run them down the ramp, and once they reach max speed, we're probably just going to put them in neutral, and, well, I go back and forth on that. Actually, no, you know what? I want to see how much we can get out of the gearing. It's not necessarily going to be how much we can get out of gravity. Let's see how much we can actually get out of the gearing. I mean, this thing's a 9-speed, so we might as well give it the beans. Send it. There's 8th gear. Oh, yeah, this thing is cooking. That was a big one. That was a huge one, actually. And it flops a little bit. Do we have enough momentum to roll it back over? Probably not, and this is where it comes to rest. That's a big jump, actually. That's a lot of distance. Next up, we got this thing, the 6-door F450, which this one is one it's actually quite interesting because I used this truck a lot initially when it first dropped. Like, when it first came out, I used it a lot, and then I kind of didn't use it as much over time. Not because I didn't like it, but because I guess I was just driving other things. Regardless, going back and driving this thing again brought back a ton of memories. So, looking down the ramp, we can actually see where the 2017 L400 landed. So let's send this thing in 3, 2, 1, ease it over the edge, and beans, come on! There's 7th gear already. Is it gonna shift? I don't know. I don't think it shifted. Yeah, it shifted into 8th in the air, but that's not hurting it at all. Ooh. And it rebounded so hard that it also flopped. Okay, you're gonna chill right there. And it got pretty close. That's quite impressive, actually. And of course, next up, we have the hilarious RR13. This thing was one of the trucks that kind of pushed console-friendly monster trucks to the next level, and it's definitely got its performance on another level as well. It's insanely fast, it's insanely capable, and if you choose the right ramp, it can do backflips. But 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm a little worried about the top speed, like with it being a 5-speed gearbox, and it kind of not, well, that wasn't a bad jump though. Okay, never mind, maybe I shouldn't have worried about the fact that it's only a 5-speed, and it's kind of in the ground backwards, but it actually almost exactly split the difference between the two. I didn't think it was going to be that close. I actually kind of expected it to be somewhat back here, kind of like where the 6-door F450 was, but that's impressive from the RR13. And now for one of the only PC-only mods on this list, this is the Diablo F450. Now, if you're on PC and you want to check this thing out, you can find more information about it on Lime's Discord server. The thing is an absolute beast. It's a maniac in truck form. It's got a fully built, I believe, how many turbos are on this thing? 2, I see 2. but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a third one hidden somewhere because it's Lime's. But no, it's got a fully built twin-turbo Cummins in the back, and gigantic axles, gigantic tires, and a 7-speed as opposed to the 5-speed in the RR13. So this thing should absolutely fly in more ways than one. Let's go. There's 6th already. All right. It definitely... Oh, my God. Okay, yeah, this thing's gonna... Well, we already know who our new leader is. And it... Oh, my God, big tumble. Come on. And it lands on its wheels all the way out here. So our new leader, by a mile, maybe not a literal mile, but by a decent margin, is the Diablo F450. Next up, we have this absolute legend. This is Lime's Cateye Chevy, and it is... Honestly, this was probably, especially back when it first came out, this was one of the most heavily anticipated console mods. Now, this is the PC version because it's got the Chevy badge on it, of course, but the console version is exactly the same. It just doesn't have the Chevy badge. That's literally the only difference between the PC version and the console version of this mod. So... 8-speed in this thing, but the tires aren't quite as tall as the last truck we ran. So I'm thinking it'll be kind of somewhere around where the other 3 currently are. But then again, there's only one way to find out, and that's to give it the beans. So let's see. Oh! It's going to be a decent result. Oh! Oh, it just... Oh, and then it flops over. I'm not touching the throttle at all because that's the best way to keep them stable when they land. And even still, it still flopped. But out of all of these, this one went the farthest, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, it didn't get close to where the Diablo went, or landed, but that's still a good result as it is. Next up, we have Aries 2.0. Now, you might be asking, why is the original Aries not in this video? And I thought about including it, but I figured that since Aries 2.0 was kind of the new face of this whole entire truck as it is, this was the one that I was going to feature, because this one is essentially the original, but with a bunch of new updates, you know, quality updates, and feature updates, all sorts of updates across the board. So I didn't think that I needed to feature the original one, because this one was just kind of going to be better, because they literally took, Limes literally took this truck, or rather the old version of it, completely revamped it, and then was like, hey, you remember that old truck that you liked a lot? Here's the same thing, but even better. So let's ease this one over the lip of the ramp and see how far it'll go. I predict a good result from this thing. I think it's gonna be good. I think it's gonna go really far. Well, it's actually kind of like mid-pack in terms of results. And speaking of fast, this stubby little truck is way more capable than I feel like most people give it credit for. This thing shreds. It rips. It does absolutely every single thing that any term related to a truck that's, you know, essentially extremely fast, it does anything and everything related to any term you could apply to it. So, I'm excited to see what this thing will do down the ramp. I know it's small, but I think it's going to have a really, really good result. I think it's going to outdo most of the field, although I could also be entirely wrong. But let's give it the beans and find out. It already feels like it's going faster than the last truck, but maybe that's all in my mind. I don't know. Oh, actually, wow, okay, bad call. Oh my God, literally pretty much exactly in the same spot as Aries 2.0. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop making calls like that because it seems as though that one was wildly inaccurate. Next up, we get to go back in time, and I mean like back to like the earlier days of SnowRunner modding. This is, well, I'm sure as some of you know, this is Lime's original L400 in its pretty much like top trim in terms of building it into like a mega truck, a monster truck, things like that. And you could definitely see how far Limes has come in terms of quality as a modder. I mean, this was still an amazing truck for its time, but the mods have definitely come a long way. Now, interestingly, this thing has has a 9-speed transmission, although I'm sure the ratios and the power are different in this than what Limes uses now. But let's see what this thing will do. This one is kind of a wild card. I have no idea what to expect out of it. It kind of got caught up a little bit on the lip of the ramp, I think. Yeah, the suspension was too soft. Although, I mean, hey, this one landed and it's still running, so that's got to count for something. Although, the shock tower kind of pierced through the hood. So I don't know if I would say it's in perfect condition, but I mean, you know, only driven on weekends, never been in mud, never driven hard, you know, $55,000 minimum. Yeah, no trades. And then there's this. This is Lime's PC-only, paid, like, premium second gen. Now, this is one of the only other PC-only mods in this video, and it's a monster. Now, I've used this truck before in some other videos, but it's been a long time, like a really long time since I've used this thing. And I think it'll be a good result, but this is kind of another wild card. I don't really know where it's gonna land. So, oh, it's hauling. It's hauling, though. Compressed a good bit on the takeoff, but I think this thing is gonna actually have a really good landing. And oh, wow. Right on top of the front axle of the F350 Shorty. I mean, it's kind of mid-pack. I mean, I'm still blown away that the Diablo F450 is all the way out where it is. That's still so impressive to me. Now, in terms of mods that sent the mod browser into an absolute frenzy when they first dropped, this is up there with the best of them. This is Lime's OBS. Now, there had already been, like at the time when this truck came out, there had already been really, really high demand for a highly customizable OBS Ford. And when this thing dropped, and I say people went absolutely nuts over it, people really went absolutely wild for this truck. Now, how is it gonna do in the context of this competition? Don't know. I cannot remember the last time I drove this truck, much less if I've ever driven it here. So, let's see what it'll do. It's got that same 9-speed transmission. It's all going to come down to whether or not it gets a good takeoff. Seems like it got a pretty good one. Oh, yeah, it got a good one. It got a good one, and oh, wow. So this is actually the closest anything has come to the Diablo F450 out of all of them, basically. But the next one, I think we all know what's going to happen with the next one. And that's because the next one is the Megabus. Y'all knew we had to do it. The Diablo F450 had a fun record while it lasted, and now it's time for that record to inevitably fall to that of the Megabus. Now, I've never run it with these specific tires. I think the last time I had it out here, it was on the more like agricultural style tires. These are more monster truck style, so I'm actually surprised it kind of fits in the lane. All right, roll it over the edge. High range. Full beans. So it's going into a front flip. Oh, wait, and then it stopped. It, like, froze. And then it tumbled. I mean, it's kind of already the record holder anyway, so, oh, it's still tumbling. So it landed in the mud pit, although ironically, that's still not as far as my record out here, which is with the Monstrosity. Now, obviously, the Monstrosity is kind of, you know, it's from a different mod creator. It's not really a part of this lineup, so we might run it again in a different video. But if y'all enjoyed this, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all next time.